Hi, Sumit. So I made this beautiful crop top. Yes, it is a smoky crop top, but the front has a basque waistline, making it longer than the back. Here, right here, I have like four ropes to tie, so it's sort of like a tube top, but it has these four ropes, two at the front and two at the back, which when tied together, as you're seeing in this video, makes it very, very beautiful. So if you like to see how I made this top, then you need to watch this video to the very end. My name is Veronica Adams Easy. Welcome to Vera Adams YouTube channel. So right here is the pattern that we'll be using for this top. So this is a basic bodice. So from the waistline, I came down by 5 inches and I added one extra as the allowance. So from the waistline right here, I'm creating that Basque waistline, but I don't want it V. I want it a bit curved. You see that I've gone ahead to adjust that shape, so I'm going to go ahead to use my marker pen to make it more visible. So once this is done, remember that we said this is like a tube dress, so I came down by 5 inches. You can do less or you can do more, but 5 is fine for me. So from there I can go ahead to start cutting it out. Once I'm done cutting, I'm going to use this pattern paper to cut out both the front and the back bodies of this top. At this point, I realized that I didn't extend this back waistline to meet the allowance, so I'm going ahead to do that. So once this is done, I'll go ahead and cut this out, just as you're seeing me doing here. So right here is the fabric that I'll be using for this top. I have this Kampala fabric, so I'm going to go ahead to fold it such that we'll be able to place the pattern paper right on it. So right here, I actually left about 5 inches at the center of this fabric before pinning the pattern paper on it. So remember that this fabric is on fold. Right here at this armhole area, I'm going to go ahead and close it up by extending from the bust line. I'm going to extend the line that we have on the bust line upwards, since this is sort of a tube top. But if you're going to be attaching sleeve, you can go ahead and use this pattern paper exactly the way it is. So right here, I'm going ahead to cut, and I'm starting from the bottom to the side. Then at the upper part, I'm going to go ahead and leave about 1 inch. This is what we're going to use to hem the upper part of this crop top. So I'll go ahead and cross check if we have exactly 5 inches, and that's what we have right here. Now that we're done with the cutting for the front piece, I'm going to go ahead to fold this part from the waistline. Know that we don't need this back waistline for the back, so I'm going ahead to fold that part inward so that we can still use this same pattern paper to cut out the back. So I'm going ahead to cut out the back piece. You can see that extension from the bust line that we did for the front. We also did this for this back piece. And I also added 1 inch to the upper part for hemming of this as well. So right here, I've gone ahead to pin the pattern paper from the fabric, and I'm indicating this as the back piece. Note that this back piece was cut on fold, like as one piece, just as we cut for the front. This is because this crop top will not require a zipper. I've gone ahead to mark arrows to indicate the lower part, that's the down part, so that there is no mistake when we're sewing this. From here, you can see that the back is shorter compared to the front, and that the front has a back waistline. So the first thing to do is to hem both the upper part and the lower part of the front. We're starting with the front piece. So I went ahead to place a notch at the point where the waistline ended. That's from the point where we added the allowance for the basque. So I'm going to go ahead to hem that part. For this type of smoky crop top, we're going to be making use of 2 types of thread, the regular one and a smoky or elastic thread. So the elastic thread is what is going to be in the villa. So you go ahead to use your hand to roll the elastic thread or the smoky thread inside the villa that is going to be put in the shuttle. So right here, I've not done that. I'm using the regular thread for both the inner part and the outer part. This is because I'm just hemming the upper part of this of the front bodies. So this is what I'm doing right here. So once I'm done with hemming the upper part and the lower part, I'll go ahead to put in the smoky thread that we have already reeled inside the villa. So now that we've actually done that, we can now start sewing I'm going to go ahead to leave about 0.75 inch from that first line, that line that we aimed, and start running a stitch from one end to the other. You can do 1 inch, you can even do 0.5 inch depending on how much you want to do. So I'm done with the first line of the Smokey thread, so I'm going to go ahead to the second one. I also left 0.75. Make sure that you are consistent with the spacing. You want to leave the same. So if you are okay with 1 inch, make sure that the spacing between each line is 1 inch. So I'm going to go ahead to do that also. Once I'm done with this, I'll continue down till I wouldn't get to the very end. I'll stop at that point where I notched. That's where the Basque waistline started from. So this is what it is looking like at this point. I've gotten to that notched part, and this is down part, that's the part that I aimed. So now I'm going to continue. So I'm starting from after that notched part. I'm going to continue because I'm going to run this stitch down till I get to the very end. So at that point I was done, and I started working on the back piece. Remember that the back piece is one piece, so I'll go ahead and finish it up and show us what we have at the end of everything. So here's what the back piece is looking like after I was done. You can see that I started from the top to the bottom, and this is what the wrong side looks like as well. And I'll bring in the front piece. So despite the elastic effect, you can still see the shape. That's the basque, the round basque shape right here. So I'm showing you where we have the notch. You can see that the notch is still preserved. The next thing is to bring these two pieces together, right side facing right side, align them at the side, and go ahead start pinning. So you notice that the back piece will terminate at that point where we notched on the right piece, or on the front piece rather. Once I'm done pinning this side, I'm going to move ahead to the second side or the other side. I'll go ahead and pin it down right from the top to that point where we have the notch as well. And once this is done, I'll take this to the sewing machine to stitch down with 1 inch on both sides. So this is what it looks like after I was done stitching. I'll go ahead and turn it to the right side. During the course of this video, I realized that the 5 inches was actually too much, so I think 3 inches will be perfect, because I eventually went ahead to still hold it, like still went ahead to, I said I did 1 inch on both sides. I went ahead to still add about half an inch on both sides. That means I took about 1.5 inches from both sides. So 3 inches is actually okay. So right here, these are the pieces for the rope. I have about 4 inches in width, and the length I didn't really measure it. So anyways, I went ahead to fold so that I would have about 1.5 inches. I've already done this 3 for 3. I'll show you how I did it with this last one. So I went ahead to close all the ends, so I left about 2 inches in the middle because I closed both ends. You can see that this end is closed and this other end is closed. So this space that I left here is what I'll use to turn everything inside out. So I'll go ahead and use my scissors to turn this inside out, and I'll go ahead to iron it flat. Then this hole from which we turned it inside out, I'll go ahead and stitch that part down to close it up. So that's how I achieved these 4 ropes here. Now that this is done, I would go ahead and bring in the bodies, and then I'll determine where I want to put the rope. So I just eyeballed it. I didn't actually use a specific measurement. So from the side, I think I came out by about 2.5 inches. Then pin. Note that I'm pinning on the wrong side, even though what you're seeing here is the right side. I'll go ahead and do the same for the second side. Remember that the edges are closed, so I'll go ahead and pin, and then exactly where I have the rope on the front, I'll go ahead and place the rope for the back exactly at that point, so they both are aligning. So remember that I'm pinning on the wrong side, and then I'll go ahead and run a stitch from the right side. I'll run a stitch from the right side that will hold these ropes in place for the 4 ropes. So once that is done, I can go ahead and tie it up. You can tie it however you want it, whatever suits you. I hope that you found this video useful. If you did, please give it a thumbs up by clicking on the like button, and if you're new to this channel, do well to subscribe. And if you have any question, do not hesitate to drop it in the comment section. I'll definitely respond to you. Till I see you in my next one. Bye.